Good morning, Ditya, everyone. Yeah, so let us start the class. Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning. So today we'll start the class with one problem. Okay. So last class, if you remember, Wheatstone Bridge. So the circuit of Wheatstone Bridge looks like this. Okay, this could be another resistor. Sound is audible, right? Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Sound is audible? Yes. Okay. So look here. So this is what we call Wheatstone bridge, right? Now, in order for this Wheatstone bridge to be balanced means what? To be balanced means no current should flow here. Now, in order for no current to flow here, potential of this point, if I call it B, and potential of this point, if I call it D, that must be same. If potential between 2 points are same, then current cannot flow. Why? Because current flows when there is potential difference in a resistor. In a resistor, if this is the resistor, there has to be a potential difference, then current will flow. According to Ohm's law, V equals to IR. So if V is 0, current will be 0. So if no current is there, then we say it is balanced, which means this point and this point should be at same potential. Now, what is the condition for that? The condition for that is P by Q should be equal to R by S. P matlab resistance of this branch. Q matlab resistance of this branch. R matlab resistance of this branch. S matlab resistance of this branch. Okay. So remember that and try to solve this question. Everyone, try to solve this question. 1 minute time I will give you. Once we do this, then we will today do the entrance corner of the previous section. No, exam corner first we have to do. Exam corner 3.3. Correct now? So try to solve this question. You can see here also one branch P, Q, R, S. Okay. After B, what is the resistance? X only you have to find. Sanjay, X only you have to find. What should be this X? 15 ohm, 6 ohm, 15 ohm, 6 ohm, 6 ohm, 4 ohm, 4 ohm, 4 ohm, X 8 ohm, 3 ohm. You have to find X so that this point and this point are at same potential. Meaning, if you put a resistor here, no current should flow. No current should flow in the middle branch, which means the circuit should be balanced. Naveen, 8 ohm. Okay. Sumedha also got 8 ohm. Okay, let us try once. Okay. So what you should do, first find equivalent of this. 15, these two are in series. So in series, we usually, not usually, we add the resistances. So 6 plus 15 will be 21. Any mistake I do, please let me know in the beginning. So this is 21. 6 and 6 in parallel. 6 and 6 in parallel will be 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6, 2 by 6, ulta, 6 by 2, 6 by 2, ulta, 3. So this will be 3. 3 plus 15 in series will give you 18. So this will be 18. Everybody understood? No, 6 and 6 in parallel. will be 3. 3 and 15 in series will be 18. This one 4 and 4 in parallel will give you 2. 2. Try to do yourself. 2 and 4 in series will give 6. 4 and 4 in parallel will give 2. 2 and 4 in series will give 6. And this side, x and 8 are in parallel. So x and 8 will give you 8 into x by 8 plus x. Let me write small letter x. Right? In parallel, what formula we use? R1, R2 by R1 plus R2. So 8 into x by 8 plus x. Then these two are in series, remember. So now what is the condition? The condition is P by Q should be equal to R by S. Let me do calculation in the middle part. Space is there, right? Okay. This chat box, let me keep it on the side. Yeah. So what is P? 21. What is Q? We have to find. So Q is, let us write this resistance as something like, maybe I can write it as RBC. So here, whatever resistance is there, let me write RBC. So P by Q, or let me write Q only, no problem. P by Q should be equal to R by S. R is 18, S is 6. Right? So from here, Q will be equals to, cross multiply 21 into 6 by 18. 6 3s are 3 7s are. So Q should be 7. But this branch should have resistance 7. Now, what is Q? Q is series combination of this 3 ohm and this resistor. So I can write 8x by 8 plus x plus 3, because that is the total resistance in this branch. So this is your Q now. Yes or no? So that should be equal to 7. That means 8x by 8 plus x should be 4. 7 minus 3, 4. Then 4 1s are, 4 2s are. So I will get 2x equals to 8 plus x. Correct now? So x will come this side. So x will be 8 ohm. So that is your result. Okay. So I hope everybody understood. So like this, sometimes they will do. Please try to solve it. I did it little bit. Too many things were there. Usually, no, this will be one resistor. This will be one resistor. This will be one resistor, and this will be one resistor, and X will be in parallel. Right, fast. Okay. Try to see everyone. Exam corner 3.3. Exam corner 3.3. Exam corner 3.3. If the answer is short, I will write. If the answer is little lengthy, I will just discuss with you and I will share in the Google Classroom solution. So whenever a Wheatstone bridge is given, try to remember the balance condition is P by Q should be equal to R by S. Okay, let us see the next question now. Exam corner 3.3. First question you see. When a flashlight is open, flashlight, torchlight that we all have, when a flashlight is operated, what is being used up? What is being used up? What is getting used? Battery current, battery voltage, battery power, or battery resistance? What do you think? Battery current is getting used, or battery voltage is getting used, or battery power is getting used, or battery resistance is getting used? Used up means it is getting used. It will not come back. It will not come back. Well, the answer is battery power, because power is related to energy, and energy of the battery. Energy of the battery means what form of energy? What form of energy I talk when I talk about battery of energy of battery? What form of energy? Chemical energy. So the chemical energy will be used up in the form of light, and little bit of heat will also come. So battery's energy is getting used. Current will just flow. Whatever charges are coming from here, that will go here. That will stay there only. But the energy of those charges will decrease. Okay. So please understand, what is getting used is battery's power. Voltage more or less remains constant for battery. You know that. Okay. Question number 2, you see. A battery has internal resistance small r and EMF E, capital E. What is the maximum current that can be taken from the battery? So here is a battery with some internal resistance R, E. Question is, what is the maximum current that can be taken? Now, they have not put any condition for external resistance. They have not put in the question. They have not told that external resistance should be of some value. That means whatever external resistance we put, let us say capital R, current we know is E by R plus R, right? Now, since there is no condition given for this, in order for this current to be maximum, this denominator should be minimum. But internal resistance, though, it is there with the battery, that we cannot change. So what we have to do is to make I maximum, you have to make this capital R minimum. And the minimum value you can take is 0. So then the maximum current will be EMF by internal resistance. Okay. So keep this in your mind, because there was no condition given that there has to be a resistor like that. They did not say anything like that. So since they did not say that there has to be a resistor, you can connect zero resistance. You can imagine. Now zero resistance means what? Zero resistance means just put a short circuit. So if you do a short circuit like this, then the resistance is almost 0. So this wire, if you assume is copper wire and all, then the resistance is very, very less. So it will be almost 0, then the current will be maximum. So this is called short circuit. Very dangerous to do like this, because if you do short circuit, then current, very large current will flow, very large current. And that may result in lot of heat, and that heat can result in sparks. Okay, so in your car, if you open the hood, there will be battery. Positive terminal will be there, negative terminal will be there. Now imagine you are working with some range. Some range, you know, right? So some equipment to move the screws and all. So suppose you are working with the range and suddenly it falls on top of the battery. Now imagine this is the plus and this is the minus. If the range, which is a very good conductor, almost zero resistance, if that one falls like this on top of it, then that is very dangerous, because that is almost like short circuit now, like this. You are directly connecting plus with minus, like directly, without any resistance, almost no resistance. Then the current will be very large. So that will create lot of heat that may result in sparks, and that is quite dangerous, you all know, right? Unnecessary Diwali we don't want. Okay. So please realize that this should not be done. Now, if they put a condition that there has to be some resistance, if they put some condition, so if they say R cannot be 0, right? Then if you remember, you have to deal with maximum power theorem. So in maximum power theorem, what I told you, maximum power is delivered when external resistance is equal to internal resistance. If you remember, please memorize that fact. It's very, very important. Maximum power is given by the battery to the external resistance when external resistance equals internal resistance. So in that case, your R should be equal to small r, then your maximum current will be E by small r plus small r 2R. So if there is some condition mentioned, then this is the answer. Okay. Write fast, please. This is question number 2. All are conceptual questions. Like these questions you don't get usually in your board exams. In board exams, usually they will ask, what is EMF? Okay, what is the unit of potential difference, or define 1 volt? Like that they will ask. Okay, but still someday they, if they may ask any conceptual question, I want our students should be able to answer. Question number 3 you see now. Determine, different lamps might have batteries connected in either of the 2 arrangements. What would be the advantage of each scheme? So in the first scheme, you can see the batteries are in series. So if you know, usually that is how we use it. So here is a bulb, okay, and we are connecting it to a battery like this. I will do like this only, okay. So here you can see the batteries are in series with the bulb. So this is the first scheme. In the second scheme, they are connecting the bulb in this way. So in the first one, you are using the batteries in series. I hope you know this is how we use in torchlight. How many of you have that cylindrical torchlight where you put one battery, then you put another battery, then you lock it, and then you have you seen it? Like in olden days we used to have. I don't know whether you guys have seen or not. So there will be a cylindrical, container kind of thing. Yeah, okay. It's not so old also. It's not like I am 1947 person, okay. So look here. So they are asking what is the advantage of each one of them? What is the advantage of each one of them? Okay. So what do you think? The advantage of this is, see, total EMF will be how much? Here total EMF, equivalent EMF will be 2E because it is in series. Here total EMF will be only E only because E and E in parallel will give you E only, right? Yes or no? So since here you have more EMF, more current will go to the bulb, more current. Since more current will go to the bulb will glow brighter. So the advantage of this is bulb will glow brighter. Bulb will glow brighter because more current will flow. So if more current will flow here, more power will be consumed by this resistor than compared to this resistor. Understanding or not? Because here the cells are in series. So total EMF will be 2E. Here it is in parallel. I am assuming identical EMF. So it will be E in parallel will give you E only. So this is the advantage of this one. What is the advantage of this one? Can you tell me? Advantage of this one? Anyone? What is the advantage of using batteries in parallel? Disadvantage is battery will not glow more. But what is the advantage? Think, what? Yeah, super. Okay. Yeah, this will last longer. This will last longer because whatever total current is flowing here, this battery has to provide half of that current. So if this is I here, this has to provide I by 2. This has to provide I by 2. So since these batteries have to provide less current, it will last longer. It will last longer. Okay. Also one more thing, power consumed is less. That is obviously understood from here, no? Because if this one glows more, then this one will glow less. So it will last longer, number one. Another advantage is there. Yeah, Amina has told properly. Another advantage is if one battery fails, it will still work. It will still work. You may not get very bright light, but still it will work if one battery fails because it is in parallel. Even if this battery fails, this will send current. But here, if one of the battery fails, then the circuit will be open, so no current can flow. So please realize, these are the advantages of both of them. Question number 4. If two identical resistors are connected in series to a battery, two identical resistors, identical matlab R and R in series is connected to a battery, does the battery have to supply more power or less power than when only one of the resistors is used? If only one resistor is used for same voltage. Okay, so voltage should be assumed same. Voltage should be assumed same. So this will consume more power or less power, they are asking. Since battery is same, whatever terminal voltage this will get, this will also get same terminal voltage because battery is same. Oh, sorry, current will be different. So let us assume internal resistance is 0. Terminal voltage will not be same, okay, because current will be different. Terminal voltage is what? E minus IR. So terminal voltage here and here will not be same because E may be same, small r may be same, but current here will be different from here because this has more resistance. So let us assume internal resistance is 0 so that we can answer it easily. So here what will be the power consumed? Since voltage you know, V square by total resistance 2R. And here power consumed will be V square by R. Since this is divided by 2R, this power will be less than this power. So power consumed by this will be less than power consumed by this. Okay. Let us see entrance corner 3.3. Some very good questions are there. Write down fast. If internal resistance is mentioned, no students, you have to first find current, then find power consumed by both of the resistor. I square R formula you have to use. That way you have to do it. That also we will do, don't worry. While solving JEE problems, we will do that. Okay. Now see the first question. Entrance corner 3.3. Question number 1. Kirchhoff's junction rule. Kirchhoff's junction rule matlab what? The sum of currents entering a junction is equal to sum of currents leaving the junction. Is a reflection of what? Conservation of charge, if you remember. But let us check the options. First option is conservation of current density vector. No, current density vector can change. From point to point, current density vector can change. If you change the area of the wire, current density vector can change. If you turn the wire, then current direction will change. So vector will change. So first option is not correct because current density vector can change. Conservation of charge, that is correct. Option B is correct. Option C, the fact that momentum which the charged particle approaches a junction is unchanged as the charged particle leaves the junction. That is also not true. If the wire is bent, then momentum, it will change because momentum is also vector quantity, mass into velocity. So if one particle is coming like this and going like this, momentum has changed. So momentum will change. Here they said unchanged. So option C is wrong. Option D, the fact that there is no accumulation of charges at a junction. This is also correct. So option D is also correct. So option B and D, no accumulation of charge. So 1 ampere coming, 2 ampere coming. Here total 3 ampere should go. So whatever total charge is coming per second should go. Okay, so there should be no accumulation of the charge carriers. So B and D both are correct. Question number 2. Two batteries of EMF E1 and E2 and internal resistance R1 and R2 respectively are connected in parallel as shown in the figure. So parallel combination they are saying. Imagine some external resistor here, some resistor here like that. So they are asking equivalent EMF is between E1 and E2, greater than E1, less than E2. Equivalent EMF is smaller than E1. Equivalent EMF is E1 plus E2. Equivalent EMF is independent of internal resistance. What was the formula? If this is E1 R1, this is E2 R2. Formula for equivalent EMF was E1 R2 plus E2 R1 by R1 plus R2. Yes or no? This formula I hope you remember. I derived it very properly. And I told you to practice once and put in Google Classroom. None of you have done it. Anyways, I hope you have done it. So this is a formula for equivalent EMF. Okay. So now this value is between E1 and E2. Actually, it is between E1 and E2. It is neither less than the smallest. In parallel, usually what happens, it will be less than the smallest. But that is for capacitors and resistors. Okay. For capacitors, it happens in series. For resistors, it happens in parallel. That the equivalent is smaller than the smallest. But for EMF, it doesn't happen because R1, R2 are also there. So let us check. Let us say this is 5 volt. This is 1 ohm. This is 10 volt and this is 2 ohm. With some example, let us check. So what will be equivalent EMF? 5 into R2 is 2 plus E2 is 10. R1 is 1 divided by R1 plus R2 is 1 plus 2. That will come 10 plus 10. This is 10. This is 10. 20 by 3. Right? So it will be 3 6 18. Point carry something will come. Right? 6.667 like that. So you can see the value of the equivalent EMF, whatever value you see here. And I took the values randomly. So randomly you take any value, you will find that equivalent EMF will be greater than the smaller one. The smaller one here is E1, or it will be greater than the smaller one or larger than the bigger one. So in this example, they told E2 is bigger than E1. Yeah, so this is correct. So this will be the right answer. So please remember, in parallel, the equivalent EMF will be in between the smaller one and the larger one. Okay, keep in mind, this is how you can try to prove. Of course, analytically, if you try to prove, it will take time. So better to just substitute some values and check. Question number 3 is one of my favorite question. Okay. Very nice question it is. All these are NCERT exemplar questions. And these days, as I told you before, NEET people are using NCERT questions for their exam. So what they are saying is, they have shown you a graph, y-axis, x-axis. And the graph looks something like this. So this is the graph. So the question is, what should be here and what should be here? Let us see the question. Let us read it. The given graph is in relation to a cell connected to an external resistance. So let us draw a diagram. Cell some internal resistance and external resistance. So this is the circuit. The EMF of the cell is E. Terminal voltage is capital V. Terminal voltage means voltage here. Terminal voltage. Current is I. Current is I. Which quantity should be along x-axis and y-axis they are asking. First option R comma V. So R should be here. V should be here. So let us check. Let us check. V and R, okay? Now some of you may think, no sir, this cannot be correct. Because V is equal to I into R. So it should be directly proportional. Arey Baba, that is applied when resistance is constant. V proportional to I is applied when R is constant. Yes or no? Here they are changing R itself. X-axis they are saying is R. So you cannot say like this. You cannot assume V is proportional to I. This is not VI graph. This is VR graph. So you have to find a relation between V and R. To find a graph, you need a formula. So let us find a relation. You know that terminal voltage, this V is terminal voltage. What was the formula for terminal voltage? E minus I into small r. Right? This was the formula. Yes or no? Okay. Now, E is constant, I know, because battery is same. This is also constant. So battery they are keeping same, only they are changing the external resistance. This they are changing. So these two are constant, which I don't mind. I can keep it here. Then if I plot VI graph, you already know it will look like this. Right? Y equal to mx plus c. This one I have taught already. But this is not VI graph. We want VR graph. So you need to bring resistance here. How do I bring resistance here? Capital I is the current here. Current here is how much? E divided by R plus R. Yes or no? So current is E divided by R plus R into small r. So which I can write E common 1 minus small r by R plus R. Okay. Now let us check what happens to this V for different values of R to get the idea of the graph. Okay. So let us check. So let us say when you are at this origin. When you are at origin, what should be the x coordinate? Quickly. At origin, what should be x coordinate? 0. So at origin, capital R is 0. So when capital R is 0, what will happen to this formula? If this R is 0, you can see small r will cancel. 1 minus 1. 1 minus 1, 0. So your V will be 0. As expected. As expected. Matlab, if you just put here short like this. Short circuit. Then current will flow because there is small r is there. Current will flow. But the voltage here will be 0 because there is no resistance here. So I into R. I is there, but R is not there for this wire. So voltage will be 0. So it is nice that it starts from V is also 0. So it starts from origin. So when R is 0, V is 0. So the first point in that graph is matching with whatever we are discussing. Now think when R is infinity. When R becomes very large. So when R is going to very large values. So when R is going to very large values, this denominator will become 0. Because if this is going to infinity, then this will be infinity. So R divided by R plus small r will go to 0. Because denominator is going to infinity. Na? So something divided by infinity is what, students? 0. So if this is going to 0, we will approach what value? EMF. Because it will be 1 minus 0. That means this point is your EMF. So as your R increases, your terminal voltage starts from 0 And as capital R keeps on increasing, as you put here more and more resistance, more and more resistance, more and more resistance, your terminal voltage will slowly approach a constant value. That's why the graph is becoming horizontal. Why it is becoming horizontal almost? Because when R goes to infinity, this capital R, large value, this denominator will be very, very large. And something divided by very, very large is very, very small. So if it is very, very small, your V will become almost same as EMF, because it will be 1 minus almost 0. 1 minus almost 0 will be 1, almost 1. 1 into E will be almost E. So this is the right graph. So that is the answer. So V and R. Other options are not correct. You can check yourself. Option B, V and I. How? V and I told it will be like this. If V is here and I is here, graph will be, first of all, V should be here. And if I is here, graph will be like this. Okay. And third one, E and I. No, that is also not possible because EMF is constant. EMF does not depend on current. It depends on only battery. So EMF graph will look constant. So this graph matches with V and R. So this is something very important. I found this question is not available in many, many textbooks. Only in NCERT I have found it. So try to understand the way I have done it so that you can easily see whenever they want graph, no students, you have to find relation between y-axis and x-axis. Some relation you want. So right now you have V equals to E minus IR. I you know in terms of capital R. Substitute there. And then you check what happens when capital R is very small and when capital R is very large. Then once you get the idea, you can plot the graph roughly. Right, first. Here there is capital R right now. Okay, see question number 4 now. First, a set of n equal resistors of R each are connected in series to a battery of EMF capital R and internal resistance also capital R. So let's draw a picture. So n resistors are there like this. N resistors, n times, okay, and they are connected in series to a battery whose EMF is E, whose EMF, oh sorry, they wrote capital R. EMF you should write E. Please write E. EMF is E. Internal resistance is also capital R. A current I is observed to flow. Current is I right now here. Let's try to calculate I. What will be I? EMF divided by total resistance. Total resistance will be how much? This part, total resistance will be NR. R N times in series. So it will be NR. This R is also there. So NR plus R. Equation 1. NR, because it's series, no, everybody is in series. Same current is flowing. Same current is flowing everywhere. So this is also in series with this. Now what they are saying, then the N resistors are now connected in parallel to the same battery. Now they are connecting these N resistors, this N of them in parallel. So if I draw a picture like this, so this is N times in parallel to same battery. Same battery means what? Same EMF, same internal resistance. Now the current flowing they are saying is 10 times. It increased 10 times. Of course the current will increase. Why? Because in parallel resistance decreases. In parallel resistance decreases. Right? R and R in parallel will be R by 2. So in parallel resistance decreases. So current will obviously increase. So here the current is, they are saying 10 times this current. And that will be how much? Here what is the EMF? E. What is the total resistance? Resistance of this much will be how much? R by N. R by N. Why R by N? 1 by R plus 1 by R plus 1 by R dot 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 N times. That will be N by R. Then ulta you have to do. 1 by R equivalent, right? Will be N by R. Ulta will be R by N. So R by N in series with this capital R. So plus R. So this is your internal resistance. This is your external resistance. External, internal, external, internal. Now, since the current here is 10 times current here, I can substitute this here. Current here in this circuit is 10 times this current. So let us substitute 10 into E by NR plus R. That will be equal to E by R by N plus R. E cancel. R I can take common and cancel. So if I take R common and cancel in the denominator, I can write 10 R common N plus 1. Here 1 by R common 1 by N plus 1. Correct now? So R also will cancel. So now we can cross multiply. So if you cross multiply, 10 into 1 by N plus 1 will be equal to N plus 1. So try to solve this equation. You may get a quadratic equation. Okay. Yes, you will get a quadratic equation. So this will be 10 times N. Oh no, it will cancel. It will cancel. 1 plus N equal to N plus 1. Right, LCM if you take, so this 1 plus N, N plus 1 will cancel, cross multiply, N will be 10. Okay, N will be 10. No need to, you will not get quadratic equation because once you take LCM here, it will be N by N plus 1. 1 plus N is same as N plus 1. No. So N plus 1 will cancel, cross multiply, N will be 10. Again, a very good question from NCERT. Exemplar. Okay. Fine. Next question we have done actually, but let us repeat, no problem. Some revision should be there. Question number 5, you see. The current in figure shows, the circuit in figure shows two cells connected in opposition to each other. No external resistance they are connected. So there is no external resistance. Cell E1 is of 6 volt. So this is 6 volt. And internal resistance 2 ohm. Let us show internal resistance. 2 ohm. See, they may not show you internal resistance sometimes because it is inside the battery. So they don't have to actually show you. But it is always better to show nearby. And the other cell has EMF 4 volt. Internal resistance is 8 ohm. They want find the voltage potential difference between A and B. A is here, B is here. So here they want the voltage, which is obviously terminal voltage, right? But first we have to find the direction of current. So tell me, current will flow this way in the circuit, first way or second way? First way or second way? First way or second way? First way, because this battery has more voltage than this battery, right? So this battery will win over this battery. This battery will control the direction because current cannot flow in both the ways. No, how in the same circuit, how current will flow this way also, that way also. So the current will flow this way. This way. Okay, let us say the current is I. Let us calculate the current. EMF, since they are opposite to each other, right? This is sending current this way, this is sending current ulta. So you cannot add. They are in series, but you cannot add. Okay, so it will be 6 minus 4 E1 minus E2 divided by total resistance. No external resistance. So 2 and 8 in series will be 10. So 0.2 amperes. Okay, I hope everybody understood how I wrote the formula. It is equivalent EMF by total resistance. But there was no external resistance, only internal resistance in series. So just add. Okay. Now we have to find potential difference across the cell. Across the cell means terminal voltage. Now the formula is E minus IR. But you have to be careful. Is it getting charged or is it getting discharged? So you can see for this battery, the current is entering the positive terminal. Since it is entering the positive terminal, this battery is getting charged. And this battery is getting discharged, right? So for this, we should write E plus IR. So don't do the mistake of writing E minus IR. Let me write this side. So whatever is the terminal voltage here, that will be E plus IR. Because this battery is getting charged. Remember that. Because current is entering the positive terminal. Okay. So for this battery, what is the EMF? 4. What is the current flowing in the circuit? 0.2 into internal resistance of this battery is 8. So 4 plus 1.6, which is 5.6 volt. 5.6 volt. Try this one. This will also come 5.6 volt. So total here will be 0 because this is 5.6. This is minus 5.6. Because this is drop. This is rise. Because total voltage here has to be 0 because there is no resistance here. So try this one. You will also get 5.6. But remember, while adding them, you have to subtract because they are in opposition. Opposition means in one battery it is drop, in other battery it is rise. Last question is again a beautiful question. Very nicely they have made it. But there is no diagram. So you have to draw the diagram. Done, this question is done. This kind of question we have done, students, already. In online also we have done. In Thursday class also we have done. Okay, let us see the last question. Question number 6. A diagram is missing. So first you draw the diagram. There is a cell, internal resistance R, and for EMF they are writing V itself. Okay, so for EMF they are writing V itself. So you have to be little careful. And there is a external resistance, capital R. And to this external resistance, they are connecting here another resistance in parallel. They are calling it R dash. Okay. And for R dash, they are putting an arrow like this. Whenever such arrows are put, it means you can vary it. It is a variable resistance. Variable resistance. Okay. So usually they put arrow to remind you that it can vary. So let us see the question. Consider a simple circuit shown in the figure. R dash, this R dash can vary from R naught to infinity. R dash can change from R naught to infinity. So the value of R dash, whatever they are going to put here, can go from R naught to infinity. Small r is the internal resistance and V is the EMF. So they are calling this as EMF. And there is a condition mentioned in the bracket. Internal resistance is very small compared to capital R, and capital R is very, very small compared to R naught. Okay. This basically means what? This part basically means what? R dash is very large and you write this part means R dash is much larger than R. So your, sorry, this is, yeah, R naught. So R naught is much larger, but you know the value of R dash starts from R naught only, right? So since capital R naught is very large than this, it means R dash will be very large than R. So this is the thing you can find from here, because the value of R dash starts from R naught only. No, from R naught only it starts, then it goes up to infinity. Already R naught is very large, they told. That means this R dash, whatever you keep here, is very large. Okay. So then they are asking which of these options will be correct. See, D option is, immediately you can see D option is correct. D option. Let us see why D option is correct. Suppose you don't have R dash. Suppose you don't have R dash. Then what will be the current? E by R plus R. Yes or no? If there is no R dash, current will be E by R plus R, which in this case I should write V by R plus R. Understood? No, if R dash was not there, current flowing in this circuit will be this much. Now when you put R dash, I don't care whatever is the value of R dash, when you connect in parallel. So when R dash is connected in parallel with R, equivalent resistance will decrease or increase. Quickly, decrease or increase. When you connect in parallel, whatever resistance, I don't care. If you connect in parallel, it will decrease or increase. Equivalent resistance always decreases in parallel. So since total resistance will decrease, current now will increase. Understood? So in this circuit, whatever is the main current, that current will be greater than this. It may be equal only when this is 0. So option D is immediately correct. Option D is immediately correct. Right? Option D, you can check, is immediately correct. So this will be always true, because without R dash, this is without R dash, So please write properly so that when you revise, you should understand, right? So without R dash, this is the current. With R dash in parallel, total resistance will always decrease. So the main current will always increase compared to without R dash. So without R dash, this was the current. With R dash, current will be always more. So option D is immediately correct. Now let us check about other options. First you write. I will rub this, okay? Remember, the condition is R dash is way larger than R. Whatever is here. Now, second, let us check the first option. Is it right or not right? What they are saying. Potential drop, matlab potential difference across AB. A is this, B is this. Okay. Potential drop across AB is nearly constant as R dash is varied. So as you change R dash, the voltage here is nearly constant, they are saying. So what I will do to find voltage here, see this current will divide here also, here also. So to find voltage here, I need to first find this current. Whatever current is coming from here, it will divide here. Now students, some will go here, some will go here. So once I know the current here, then I can find the voltage. Another way is just replace equivalent diagram. These two will have some equivalent resistance here. Then this battery. Now in parallel, you know this voltage A and B. Whatever voltage is here will be here also. So using this equivalent, I can find easily because I already know the main current. So main current is I. Correct now? So to find the voltage here, I will not divide the current. Instead, what I will do, I will find the equivalent resistance and put here, and then find the voltage. So voltage between A and B will be the main current coming into resistance of between A and B. And what is resistance between A and B? This parallel with this. Okay, let me again explain. I want voltage between these two to check whether it is constant or not constant. I have to find voltage here. To find voltage here, you have to write I into this R. But to know the current here, I have to divide this current, which I don't want to do. Instead, what I'm doing, I'm replacing these two by equivalent. And then I know this current will go directly here. So to find this voltage, I will use this voltage. Okay, I into R equivalent. Now, what is the main current? E by R equivalent, R external plus R internal into R equivalent. This is your R equivalent. So this is your current, voltage divided by total resistance. So total resistance of these two, I am writing as R equivalent and small r, right? This is EMF V. Now, what will be this? Let me simplify here. So this R equivalent is how much? R equivalent means R dash and R in parallel. So R dash into R, R dash plus R. Correct now? Substitute here. V by R dash R by R dash plus R plus small r into R dash R by R dash plus R. Correct or not correct? Okay. Now you can check since, okay, look carefully. Since it is given R dash is way larger than R. When you add R dash and R, approximately you will get R dash. Because R dash is very, very large. So if R dash is very, very large, then this formula can be written as V by R dash into R. While multiplying, you cannot neglect. While adding or subtracting. So R dash into R divided by this, I can simply write R dash plus R. And here I can write R dash into R by, and this I can write simply R dash. Okay. So I hope all of you understood what I have done. Wherever is R dash plus R, you can approximately write R dash. Because R dash is very, very large. Now see what happens. Simplification will happen. Cancel, cancel. So now if you look the formula, it looks something like this, which is a constant, which does not depend on R dash, provided R dash is very large. So it is correct to say that when R dash is very large, if you vary R dash, if you change R dash, the voltage will remain, the voltage between A and B will be constant, almost constant, almost, because even if it is larger, I cannot exactly, it is not R dash, no, exactly it is not, but approximately it is R dash. So approximately the voltage will be constant, approximately. And that is what they told, nearly constant. Is right. So option A is also correct. Option A is also correct, because once I find the voltage and put the condition that R dash is very large, I find that the voltage is more or less constant. Okay, let me rub this part. Let us see option C now. Let us see option C. So in option C, they are saying current through R dash is nearly constant as R dash is varied. Current through R dash is nearly constant if current is varied. Now, what was the formula for current I wrote? E by R equivalent plus small r. E matlab V here. Okay. And R equivalent, what we wrote? R dash into R, R dash plus R. right? Okay. Now listen carefully. Be careful, okay? With current, you have to be super careful. That's why just do the mathematics. Don't think this way it may happen, that way it may happen. Just do the mathematics and check. So this is the current. Now they are talking about current. So since it is given, R dash is way larger than R. When you add, you can write approximately R dash, right? So this will give you I will be equal to V by R dash by R, and this will be R dash plus R. So R dash cancel. So V by R plus R. Correct? No? Okay. Now, you see this current is constant, but remember this is the main current. This is the main current. Did I do correctly? Once I replace this by R dash will cancel. Yes. So this is the main current. Okay, main current. Now, here was your R dash and here was your R. And main current is I. Right? Main current coming is I. So since main current is coming is I, this I will divide here I1, I2. Now in what ratio it will divide? You know these two are in parallel. So in parallel voltage will be same. So I1 R dash will be same as I2 R. Right? So I1 by I2 will be R by R dash. Correct or not? Voltage here and voltage here should be same. So here voltage is I1 R dash. Here voltage is I2 R. So I1 by I2 should be R by R dash. So I want to talk about this I1. So when you know ratio, how to find? I told R by R dash plus R into main current. This formula you remember? No. When you know the ratio and you know the sum, how to find the individual current? This divided by sum of this into main current. Now you check. This is almost constant, we know. This is almost constant. And when R dash is very large, you will replace this by what? R by R dash into I. When R dash is very large, R dash will be there. Now you see R dash will not cancel. R dash is still there. This is R, students, not R dash. So you can very clearly see current will depend on R dash. Since current depends on R dash, it is very clear that when R dash is varied, current will vary. It will not be approximately constant, even when R dash is very large. This part, everybody understood? This part? How I got this part? You know that these two resistors are in parallel and you know the total current coming from here. Total current is this. Right? So since total current we know, and you know this current will divide here and here. You know voltage here and voltage here are same. Since voltage here and voltage here are same, from Ohm's law, current into resistance here should be same as current into resistance here. So ratio you can find. Once you know ratio and the sum, how many times I will tell you? If you know x by y is 3 by 2, x plus y is 10. Then how to find x? I told you. This 3 divided by 3 plus 2 into the total sum. So this you should know all the time so that you can do problems faster. So this technique I have applied here directly to find I1, which is current in this resistance. So it is very clear current through R dash is not a constant. Please write down. Now all of this will not come together in one question. All of this together will not come. So any one of them they may ask you for NEET exams. Okay, any one of them. So you may think we have done only question number 6, but we have done here 4 questions. So think we are doing 4 questions, then you will feel like, okay, whatever time is getting used, it is going in a purposeful way. It is not a waste. Part C, option C says what? Current I depends sensitively on R dash. Current I, this current I is constant. It does not depend on R dash. So option C is wrong. So the main current does not depend on R dash. So A and what are right? A and D. Students, again, I'm requesting to you this kind of concept you should remember, okay, so that we can do this kind of problems little quickly. Okay, so now we have completed the entrance corner of this session. After Wheatstone Bridge, there is a topic called meter bridge. Meter bridge. But before I do that, let me post one homework question for all of you. Homework question. Try to answer it in a simple way and not do too much mathematics. Okay, so the question is like this. Here is P, here is Q, here is R, here is S, and here is your galvanometer. P, Q, R, S. Now, when P by Q is equal to R by S, what we know? No current will flow this way because this point and this point will be at same potential. But if P by Q is less than R by S, try for this one. So if P by Q is less than R by S, then current will flow in this. Obviously current will flow. Question is, if this point is B, this point is B, current will flow B to D or D to B. That you have to find. Okay. So when P by Q is equal to R by S, we know no current will flow here. But if P by Q is less than R by S, then current will flow. Question is this way or that way in the galvanometer. Okay, so current in galvanometer. So question is, will it flow B to D or D to B? Shall I answer or you want to try? Shall I answer? See, you may try it too much mathematics. So I am scared of that. If you want me to do it, I will do it now. It will take hardly 2 minutes. P to D, Kirti is answering B to D. Rakshita is saying D to B. Okay, so give a try. B to D, try. Everybody should try. Anyone who wants me to do it now, I will do it. Don't worry. Or why don't you try now only? Try now only. Okay, do one thing. Try this. Most of you are answering. I don't know what you are thinking, how you are thinking. This is not a very straightforward question. Pata you cannot say. You have to think properly. So you try at home, and tomorrow tomorrow I have class. So the first 5 minutes, Prakruti, I think you can remind me, sir, please do the homework question. Okay, you also try. I will also do it tomorrow morning in the first 5 minutes. But be careful. Don't try to just immediately answer. Okay, you have to think about this. So after Wheatstone Bridge comes a very nice topic called meter bridge. Now meter bridge is direct application of Wheatstone Bridge principle. So write down meter bridge. It is a application of Wheatstone Bridge principle. So meter bridge, it is a direct application of Wheatstone Bridge principle. Okay, this is asked for 1 mark many times. They will ask on what principle meter bridge is based. So meter bridge is based on Wheatstone Bridge principle. P by Q equal to R by S when the circuit is balanced. Okay, so write down this. Now, I don't want to directly draw the meter bridge diagram. Okay, directly I will not draw the circuit. I will compare it with Wheatstone Bridge so that you understand why it is application of Wheatstone Bridge. So in Wheatstone Bridge, you had this circuit. There may be a key here. A, B, C, D. Or I wrote here A, I think. A, B, C, D. Okay, so look carefully now. What we are going to do is we are going to now make a practical circuit using this concept. So what we will do first is take a wire which is 1 meter long. Take a wire which is 1 meter long. That is why it is called meter bridge. 1 meter long. Okay, and that wire should have resistance. So you cannot take copper wire because copper wires are basically these wires. These connecting wires. These connecting wires, we never count their resistance. So you cannot take copper wire because the resistivity of copper is very, very small. So copper wires are hardly, they offer any appreciable resistance. Okay, their resistance is usually neglected. So you cannot take copper wire. Instead, you have to take what I told you. What kind of wires have more resistivity? Anyone remembers? What kind of wires? Alloys, very good. So alloys we have to use. Okay, alloys we have to use. Okay, so you can use manganese wire, constantan wire, nichrome wire. Any one of these you can take. So what we will do, we will take a wire which is 1 meter long. Let me ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ darken it. I will slightly darken it so that you know. So this is my wire and it is uniform. Okay, uniform. Area is same. This area should be same. And these 2 points are my A and C. You will come to know, don't worry. Okay. Now we will have some circuit like this. Okay. Let me first draw it, then I will explain. Okay. So these are your thick copper strips. Thick copper strips. They will ask you why we are using thick copper strips. I will answer. First, you try to see the circuit diagram. So these are your thick copper strips, and this wire will be joined here. Here, and this wire will be joined here. It joined matlab there will be some screw and all. So you can open the screw, put the wire, tight the screw. So you can join this wire between this point and this point. Now, here we are going to put a resistance. Okay, and here we are going to put a resistance. So these 2 points are like your A and C. This point is like your B. So any point here is your B because it is a copper strip. So you can neglect the resistance. So every point will be same potential. Every point will be same potential because no resistance. So this point is B, or you can say this point is B. Okay. Now please don't write anything till now. After this, don't write. Now look here. Between A and B, between A and B, come to your Wheatstone bridge. What is the resistance? P. So this is your P. Okay. Between B and C, what is the resistance? B and C, Q. So this is P, this is Q, which is between A and B here, and this is between B and C. See, I'm trying to compare with this so that you understand why this is application of Wheatstone bridge. Many people will draw directly this diagram without comparing with this. Then how will you understand? Okay. Now, where is the battery? Battery is between A and C. So here, battery will come like this between A and C. Okay, this is the battery. Now, what is still pending? Battery we have done, P and Q is done. Now, this galvanometer. So the galvanometer comes from B, remember. So there is one more screw here. So this will be connected to a wire. And that wire will be connected to galvanometer. And the other end will be connected to something called jockey. Now, jockey is basically a needle-like object. It will look something like this, like a pen only. So it will have a screw here. So you open the screw, you take this wire and you tie it here. Then this is a nip. So you can move the nip on the wire. So that is called jockey. Okay. So we'll put an arrow mark here. So this is your jockey. Okay. So this circuit is called meter bridge circuit. Okay. So why it is looking unsymmetrical like this? So this circuit is called meter bridge circuit. Do you think everything I have drawn? Everything here I have drawn here? Or something is missing? If something is missing, tell me what is missing. What is missing? R and S. Huh? But what will be R and S? Can you tell me? See, this galvanometer is connected between B and D. Correct, na? So galvanometer is between B and D. So this point will act like your D. This point. So can you tell me in this circuit which will be R here? Who will be R? Not the whole alloy, not the whole alloy. Yeah, it will be whatever is the resistance between A and B. So whatever is the resistance between these two, that will be your R. Yes or no? Check A and D. So you keep the jockey here, then this will be your A and D. So whatever is the resistance of this part, that will be your R. Understood? And whatever is the resistance, who will be S? Who will be S? Resistance of which part? Whatever is resistance between D and C, that will be your S. So this is how, if you draw this way, no students, you can easily understand that yes, this is based on Wheatstone bridge network. So the way Wheatstone bridge is looking, it is same only, except we have made it in a practical way. Practical way, matlab, like this, if I make, I can put some, resistors here. I can connect some resistor. I can connect some resistor, and there will be a scale attached here. What will be attached? Scale. Why scale is attached? So that you can measure this length. So this length is, let's say, L. Then this length will be, let us say, L dash. L dash. So this length is L, this length is L dash. And this is a 1 meter long wire. 1 meter or 100 centimeter long wire. So now what you are supposed to do while doing this experiment, I hope someday you will get chance to come to college and do this experiment. So how you are going to do the experiment is, you are going to move this jockey on the wire. As you move the jockey, as you move this pointer on the wire, this length will change. Yes or no? This length will change. If this length will change, this resistance and this resistance will change, because resistance is proportional to length of the wire. R equal to rho L by A. Remember that formula, right? So as I move this jockey, this resistance and this resistance will change. So there is a possibility that as you move the wire, P by Q, this divided by this, will be equal to this resistance divided by this resistance. And when that will happen, how will you come to know? How will you come to know that yes, P by Q has become equal to R by S? How will you come to know? Can you tell me? How will you come to know? Sanjay, I told you to make your comments public. When galvanometer will show no deflection, matlab no current will flow, where but? Kshitija, no current will flow, but where? No current will flow in the galvanometer. Understood or not? That is how you will come to know P by Q has become equal to R by S. So in the experiment, what we do, look here. We move the jockey. We move the jockey, which is point D, on the wire. On the wire. Till galvanometer shows no deflection. When galvanometer shows no deflection. Okay. So when galvanometer shows no deflection, till that point you have to move the jockey on the wire. When you do that, when this will happen, this length, this L is called balancing length. Balancing length. Why it is called balancing length? Because when this much is the length, galvanometer does not show deflection. Matlab the circuit is balanced. Okay. So now we don't need this circuit. So since the circuit has been balanced, I can write P by Q equal to R by S using which principle? Wheatstone-Bridge principle. So using Wheatstone-Bridge principle, I can write this because galvanometer is balanced. So P is this resistance, Q is this resistance, R is resistance between A and D. This is between A and D. This is between D and C. And since this wire is uniform, I can write the resistance as rho L by A for this part. And for this part, same rho L dash by same A. So same area and same resistivity. So rho cancel, A cancel. So P, which is resistance on the left gap. This is called left gap of the meter bridge. This is called right gap of the meter bridge. Okay. So P by Q equals L by L dash. And this will be 100 centimeter long. And the scale here will be in centimeter. So can you tell me what will be L dash in terms of L? Now, L dash will be how much? This will be 100 centimeter. This may be 20 centimeter. Then what will be this? 80 centimeter. So L dash will be 100 minus L. Okay, 100 minus L, correct. So if you substitute this here, your result will be P by Q will be equal to L by 100 minus L. So students, the way I want you to remember this formula is like this. Resistance on the left gap divided by resistance on the right gap is equal to length measured from the left end. Length measured from the left end divided by 100 minus L. And this L is called what length I told? Balance length or balancing length. So you have to move the jockey till galvanometer will show no deflection. When you are this side, galvanometer may deflect this way. When you are this side, galvanometer may deflect other way. So somewhere in the middle part, you should try to find the balance point. Okay, so balancing length is L. Okay, students. So what is the use of this formula? The use of this formula is you can compare resistance of this with this, right? So suppose I know this has some 10 ohm resistance. This has 10 ohm resistance. Suppose I know standard resistance. Then what I will do? 10 ohm I will put here. And the other one which I don't know, unknown resistance, I will put here. So this is known resistance, let us say, known resistance. And this is unknown. Anyone it can be. Whatever is known, unknown, it doesn't matter. So one of them will be known, other one will be unknown. So using this formula, I can calculate the unknown resistance. Correct or not? Yes or no? So usually what in NCERT they do is they write here X, which is unknown resistance. Unknown resistance. So it will become, and this will be your known resistance R. Like that they do. Okay, in NCERT. So this part, if they do like this, then what will be my formula? R by X will be L by 100 minus L. So X will be equal to cross multiply 100 minus L divided by L into R. Okay, you can also try ulta. Put here X. X matlab here unknown resistance, and here you put known resistance. Then the formula will be L by 100 minus L. Ulta it will become. Okay, if this is known resistance, this is unknown resistance, then cross multiply, you will get this formula. If this is unknown resistance, then just cross multiply known resistance here. Okay, so this last part is just change of symbols. That's what I'm doing. Otherwise, this is P, this is Q, this is the resistance R, this is the resistance S, and R resistance of this length we can write rho L by A. Resistance of this length we can write rho L dash by A. So if they ask for 1 mark, what is the application of Wheatstone bridge? Application. Then write the answer. Application of Wheatstone bridge. Application of, sorry, meter bridge. So why it is called meter bridge again? Because the length of the wire used here is 1 meter. So application of meter bridge, if they ask for 1 mark, the answer will be it is used to measure unknown resistance. Unknown resistance. Okay. So one of the resistance obviously you should know, and the other one can be compared. Okay, students. So keep this in mind, and I hope everybody understood this diagram. I have drawn this diagram using Wheatstone bridge diagram. Okay. So thank you for today. Try the homework. Don't forget. But remind me to explain tomorrow morning. Thank you. So please remember this formula, P by Q equal to L by 100 minus L.